What's up guys, Jorge Contreras here, and in this video I am going to share with you how to build an Airbnb empire without owning a real estate. So if you've been wanting to create a new primary source of income or a secondary stream of income, and in such a way where it could be passive income, you are going to love this video, so make sure you stick around till the end. Here we go. So when it comes to launching an Airbnb business, let's first talk about why Airbnb. Well, in my experience, Airbnb is the most effective way to create financial freedom. Yes, there's all these strategies out there like Forex or Amazon and all these different things, all these shiny object syndrome strategies, but a lot of those require a lot of money and a lot of experience. Building an Airbnb business is actually a very simple and easy way to get your feet wet into entrepreneurship or real estate investing. So the first thing that I want to go over is how do you get in contact with landlords so you can launch an Airbnb business using their properties where you don't have to buy any. So one of my favorite strategies here is to use Zillow.com. What you're going to find on Zillow is properties that are being advertised and they're looking for a tenant who is looking to stay there long term. Now imagine if you went to Zillow.com and you found a property in a high tourist area near you. Maybe where there's a downtown, a convention center, or near the beach, near tourism and attractions, and you find a property that is entirely or partially furnished. This way you don't have to buy all that furniture. And you reach out to the landlord and you offer them a couple different opportunities. One is you say, hey, I run a short-term and vacation rental business. Would you be interested in potentially earning more income while having a hands-off experience? This is what we call co-hosting. And in co-hosting, you essentially operate the Airbnb for them. The great thing is you don't have to pay rents, you don't have to pay for a deposit, you don't have to buy furniture or appliances. You offer a co-hosting service and you're able to charge them a percentage of the entire revenue while having zero expenses. One of my tips whenever you're speaking to a landlord is don't give them all of the information over the phone. Again, you want to share just enough information to get them interested in meeting you and learning about you and your business model, so then you can actually meet them in person and go over all the details. It's really difficult to get someone to say yes on the very first phone call because they don't know who you are. You're some person from the internet, from the world, just calling them, calling their listing. They don't know your experience, your credibility, or anything about you. So just share enough information to get them to say yes to an in-person meeting, and that's when you're going to go all in and secure that contract. The second strategy you can utilize is called subleasing. Subleasing is where you rent the property from the landlord. Say the rent is $1,500 a month, but then you're able to generate $3,000 a month on Airbnb. That means that $1,500 would be all yours to keep. So let me give you an example. Imagine that you walk into the bank and you deposit $10,000 to put away in a savings account. The bank then pays you 1%, and as soon as you walk out, I walk in and borrow your $10,000 from the bank to launch some Airbnbs, and then the bank charges me 10% on your money. This is what we call arbitrage, where the bank is using other people's money, they're using leverage, they have no risk, but they're making a 9% spread. So essentially you become the Airbnb bank here. You pay the landlord their $1,500 a month, and anything above that is going to be your profit. So that's exactly how Airbnb arbitrage, also known as subleasing, works. When it comes to negotiating, you don't want to do all of the negotiation over the phone. You just want to share enough to pique their interest. And then of course you want to meet them in person so they can get to know, like, and trust you. You can build a relationship, build some rapport. Maybe you guys go out for some coffee and really get to know each other and talk about what's in it for them and how can you be of value and of service to them, and in exchange make sure that you're also taken care of financially. Now you can go with either one of those strategies, they're both great. However, whatever you decide, I want to give you a couple tips for the properties, okay? These are very, very important. Number one is you want to make sure there is plenty of parking in the outside, because if you get a property, I actually almost made this mistake where everything checked off except there was no parking, and I said to myself, where are the guests going to park? So very, very important, make sure there is plenty of free parking on the property. The next thing is you want to make sure there is not a lot of deferred maintenance or any deferred maintenance at all, because that's going to take a lot of work, a lot of energy. You're going to get complaints from people saying that the property is not in a good condition, or that it smelled bad, or that they didn't get the value for what they paid. So make sure the property is in good condition. Next, make sure that the property has AC and heat, right? Especially if you're in an area where it gets really hot or really cold. Throughout the year, the temperature is going to change. So make sure that the property has AC and heat. Ideally, central. Another strategy is to focus on single family residences. For me, this has been my favorite type of property. Why? Well, the family's going to get a better bang for their buck, and you are going to have a better return on investment, because the family is now going to be able to have a front yard, a backyard, a driveway, and an entire property that they can experience and share within their group. Whereas if they're staying in a condo, in a townhouse, in an apartment, their space is going to be very, very limited. And sometimes the neighbors then have issues because the people that do live there long-term next door are going to be asking, hey, who are all these different people that keep coming in and out? I don't feel comfortable and whatnot. So single family residence properties are definitely my favorite. Now let's talk about a couple things to avoid. And number one, any agreement that you strike with the landlord, make sure you have it in writing. I've had so many students that have said, hey Jorge, the landlord just wants to do like a verbal agreement and not have anything in writing. And I say, that is a big no-no, because you have nothing to protect you. You're going to invest a lot of time and energy and possibly money into starting this business, and you want to make sure you are protected by having the entire agreement in writing and in a contract. So that is my number one thing to avoid. Second thing to avoid is to make sure you guys smash the like button, because if you don't smash the like button, it's going to be very difficult for you guys to get your first Airbnb. But really, it truly helps the YouTube algorithm. It lets everyone else know that this is a great video to watch. So thanks in advance for smashing the like button. Another thing to avoid, you don't need to offer the landlord additional rent if you are going to be subleasing. You should be able to pay whatever they are advertising for fair market rent. So if they're advertising $1,500 a month to rent it to you, and then you initiate and start this Airbnb business, you shouldn't have to offer them an extra $100 or $200 or $300. It's really unnecessary. As long as you can share with them how you are going to take care of the property, make sure there's no issues, and you're going to be paying the rent on time, you should be able to pay exactly what is being advertised. So don't overpay. Finally, the third tip to avoid is you want to make sure that before you go into the city to start your Airbnb business, you want to make sure with the building department in that city that they actually allow Airbnbs. You don't want to go and launch and start an Airbnb where you invest time, energy, and money, and then 30 days later you find out you're actually unable to host in that city. So call the building department of whatever city that is. You can just go on Google and find the contact information. So I know that I covered a lot of information, and if you guys have any questions from anything that I covered here, make sure you guys let me know in the comments below. Now I know one of the most frequently asked questions is, Jorge, should I sublease or should I co-host? Honestly, it really depends on the area. It really depends what other Airbnbs are already generating as far as income. And it also depends on your finances. Co-hosting is not going to require any money. However, subleasing, you're going to pay the first month, the rent, and possibly some decor, furniture, appliances, depending on what the property has and what it doesn't have. So as long as you get started, that is ultimately the most important thing. Just like Les Brown says, you don't have to be great to get started, but you do have to get started to be great. So again, if you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I will make sure to respond to every single comment. And thank you guys so much for watching this video, for supporting my YouTube channel. Again, make sure you guys smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications so you can be notified every time I upload a video. And last but not least, make sure you guys follow me on Instagram, where I upload content every single day. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.